Yo, what's up, basketball world? It is Rick Kamla. It is FSWA Hall of Famer Steve Alexander, aka Dr. A. Doc, I'm rocking a Kevin Love shooting shirt, all-star from New Orleans. I don't even remember the year this was, 2010, 2012. But cool shirt, man. Um, Rocking this. You're rocking the hat. You got the warm gear. You're up in northern Georgia. What's going on, dude? Light slate of games, but some interesting basketball here tonight.
Yeah, I'm ready to go, man. I made it. I found y'all. I'm here, and I've got my Magic Man all ready to go. Right after you tell us about Bet Online.
Our boys and girls at Bet Online continue to be the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for online betting. They've got the earliest odds. They've also got in-game live betting. And BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. They've got the largest selection of odds and everything from pro and college football, pro and college basketball, NHL, and UFC. So head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, the game starts here. And as we start our episodes with the Magic Man of the night, we go to Doc for the first tip on this. Several good options tonight here, Doc. Are you going like deep? Are you going like underground garage band that nobody's heard of yet? Or are you going chalky here with your Magic Man?
Chalky. Tyrese Halliburton hit 13 of 21 shots at Miami. 6 3-pointers, had 33 points, 15 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. He literally did it all. Pacers got a big win. And, Halliburton's still has a dud every now and then where he just doesn't show up. But this was a great game by him. And he's generally been a lot better of late than he was earlier in the season. So, welcome back, Tyrese.
Indeed, man. I'll give you a vibe or two on Tyrese in a moment when we talk about the Indiana and Miami game, because I got something to say about him as well. Doc, my Magic Man is Jason Tatum. No Jaylen Brown tonight. No Kristaps Porzingis tonight at Minnesota. And another road win for the Celtics. You know, the sign of a champion is to be able to just be strong and dominant and very consistent on the road. They're 12-3 on the road. They're a little weird and vulnerable, and they get bored and complacent maybe at home, and they lose too many home games for me. Even in the playoffs, they boot home games. I don't understand it. It's very ironic, but on the road, they're a menace, and they were again tonight. MVP type of performance from Tatum. And look, Doc, we talked about this last night. Jokic and SGA are in an absolute fist fight for MVP. Giannis is lurking. And Tatum is certainly lurking in this situation. He's up around 28 points per game. They have an unbelievable record. He plays every night. I mean, the guy's just a phenomenal stud. And he did it again tonight. But to go into Minnesota and you're playing against Jaden McDaniels and Ant-Man and Gobert and great defensive players. And, you painted a masterpiece here. 33, 8, and 9, 3 steals, 6 threes. It's just super, super impressive. It's not surprising at all, but it's super impressive, Doc. So Jason Tatum is my Magic Man here tonight. So let's keep talking about this game, dude. Take me into your vibes on the Celtics' victory at Minnesota tonight against the Wolves.
Well, Derek White was phenomenal with no Jaylen Brown, of course. And 5 3-pointers, 26 points, no steals, but he had 2 blocks, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Like Derek White I love the fact that they've got like Batman, Robin, and Alfred, right? The Butler, Derek White. Peyton Pritchard, quiet. It's going to happen occasionally. He's got to let somebody else in the 6th man of the race, 6th man of the year race, right? So he was kind of chill. The whole lineup was kind of chill except for White and Tatum. But great road win for the Celtics. They hung on to win by 3. About Julius Randle, your boy, played pretty well. And then there's Anthony Edwards, bro. Like, what are we going to do with this guy? 5 of 16. He's bitching after the game about constantly being double teamed. You're Anthony Edwards, dude. You know they're going to double team you. You got to find a way to work through that. 15 points, 4 boards, 6 assists. That's not what I want out of my first or second round pick, but I still feel like we're in a buy low situation with Anthony Edwards.
Doc, you the man. I love listening to you rip about our beloved NBA. Now it's my turn.
Go.
Doc, Ant-Man is not a superhero right now. He's human. I don't like the human version of Anthony Edwards. Ant-Man is not present right now. He's Anthony Edwards. It's like Clark Kent in Superman. We're getting Clark Kent right now. I don't like it, dude. He was 5 of 16 tonight, 2 of 9. He was dreadful in the game before. And he's had like some clutch moments in recent games, but otherwise lousy performances, right? So I agree with you because early in the year, we were kind of, I'm getting Halliburton vibrations like circa a month ago, right? Where it was like just dud line after dud line after dud line. Like, what are we doing with Halliburton? And me and Doc were like, buy low. I mean, this guy's too good to suck like this all year long. But it was really hairy there for a minute. Hairier even than it is here with Ant-Man, Doc, in my opinion. But I'm getting those vibrations. So hang in there if you own him. You're just in a really rough stretch right now. But there's a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. There is. And to buy low right now, again, I'd rather have Ant-Man for the rest of the year than Devin Booker. I fear chunks of games missed by Devin Booker. I don't with Ant-Man. I mean, at least he's going to be out there. Doc, I have a question for you. And Andre Lemouche and I, our great producer, were chopping this up before you came on here. I want to bring this to the air. Is it time for Chris Finch to start Dante DiVincenzo over Mike Conley?
I mean, yes. And Conley only played 19 minutes tonight in a close game. And Dante DiVincenzo played 29 minutes. 12 points.
That's your 48 minutes at point guard, by the way, right there. 19 plus 29.
Yeah. And DiVincenzo, like Ant-Man, has yet to have a single pop game this year. Neither one of those dudes have popped one time. And it's because Julius Randle is there messing up the pop, right? And Randall was solid tonight, man. 9 of 16, 27, 8, 7, a steal, 5 triples. Nothing wrong with that, but he's stopping the guys around him from doing their thing. And that's the problem. Like Julius Randle and DeMar DeRozan are the two roadblocks the two biggest roadblocks on NBA teams this year that are kind of cluttering things up for the guys who make stuff happen.
Dude, Harrison Barnes is way more in the way than Julius Randle.
He is. You're right, but I don't think Harry B keeps other people from doing what they do. Like Harry B's not.
Keldon Johnson sucks in fantasy now because of Harrison freaking Barnes, dude.
But he's not slowing down Wemby. He's not slowing down Vassell. Julius Randle has messed up Anthony Edwards, and DeMar DeRozan has sort of messed up Sabonis and Fox a little bit, and definitely messed up Keegan Murray. So, but yeah, like all three of those guys need to go to the bench. And now we're talking about Conley. I don't think Julius Randle needs to go to the bench. He's just messing things up. DeMar DeRozan doesn't need to go to the bench. Harry Barnes needs to go to the bench. But yes, Mike Conley is like 40 years old, somewhere in that neighborhood. And he hadn't had a pop game in a long time. He was nice and consistent last year and did a good job of running the offense. But it's not working this year. And Dante DiVincenzo is a better player than we've seen all season this year. So let him start and bring Conley off the bench.
Okay, so here's I agree with everything you're saying here, Doc. In baseball, when you're in a slump as a team and in a rut as a team, what does the manager do? Changes the batting order. He mixes things up. He'll move Acuna from cleanup to leadoff. He'll move. You move stuff around. You got to tinker, right? It's broken in Minnesota, Doc. It's broken. Game after game after game after game after game. We're in here Monday through Thursday talking about this, and we get dud after dud after dud. Another disappointing performance. Another, oh my God, here goes Minnesota. Dude, they're like one game over 500. Okay, we're halfway through the year. They're a sucky, mediocre Minnesota Timberwolves team right now. That's who they are. You got to change this up, dude. And Doc, Mike Conley, we talked about, he's a bench player right now. He's Kyle freaking Lowry. Doc, he's a skinnier version of Kyle Lowry, okay? That's who Mike Conley is right now. And you're right, Conley played really well last year. We didn't have this conversation last year. He's not playing well this year. Dante DiVincenzo's not playing well either. So here's the thought. You start Dante and activate him. Okay. And maybe you put the ball in Ant-Man's hands more, Doc. And Dante's kind of like a 2, and Ant-Man's kind of like a lead guard. A la Kobe, a la Jordan, a la Wade. Okay. A la Donovan Mitchell, right? Where, yeah, he's a 2, but the rock's in his hand a whole lot. But my point is they got to change it up. Minnesota's got to change it up. Okay. What you had last year, Doc, is gone. Vapor. It's gone. Right? You went to the Western Conference Finals last year. That does not matter right now. You had Cat last year. Now you have Randall and Dante. You got to make it work with this new iteration of the team. So I think they need to change it up. Anything else on this game? Or are you ready to move on, dude?
Let's move.
All right. So let's talk about Indiana at Miami. And Doc, in the preview that I did last night, while you were dealing with Deloniga difficulties, I asked the question, Is this going to be a Halliburton game or not? And I answered my own question, and I said yes, because Miami doesn't have guys to check Halliburton. Halliburton's long, right? He's very tall and very skilled, and they don't have a guy. Haywood Highsmith, it doesn't have the foot speed to stay with him. Hero and Rozier and all these guys, they can't check him. I'm like, this is a good matchup for Tyrese Halliburton. And you talked about the game that he had. He was your magic man of the night. So, boom, we nailed that. Indiana is now rolling, Doc. They win 128-116 tonight. They're 8-4 in their last 12 games, and I believe still one game under 500. Let me confirm that. They're getting their folks. Yep, 17-18, but 8-4 in their last 12 games. Now, Doc, we got to talk about Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler is going viral right now. Doc, as we speak, all right, about 5 minutes before we hit the air, and then 17 minutes before that, it hit the wire via Shams Charania that Jimmy Butler has indicated to the Heat front office that he would like to be traded. While Butler's agent shot down a prior report regarding Butler's desire to be traded, Butler said after the loss to the Pacers today that he doesn't see himself regaining his joy on the court in Miami. It's over. I don't have another example. Guys, I have watched and studied the NBA since like 1983, okay? I have covered this league professionally since 1996 or 98. I can't remember. 1998, okay? Been with either NBA TV or NBA radio and now here since 2003. All right, I've been all over this league. I can't think of another example, Doc. Please help me. Andre Lemouche, who is our walking encyclopedia, please help me out here. Can you think of another example of a player mid-season saying that he doesn't see himself regaining his joy with that team? That is a death knell. That is I can't play here anymore. Doc, he had another go through the motions game tonight. 9 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 shots, 27 minutes. We talked about this in the previous game. It's like he was a ghost out there. He was out there, but he wasn't out there. You know what I'm saying? Take it from here, Doc. Where are you at with Jimmy Butler, the sweepstakes that are?
You know, my son came up here right before we went on air. He's like, Jimmy demanded a trade. I'm like, thought that happened like a month ago. Like, it's the least surprising news I've ever heard. And it wasn't that long ago, Rick. It was December 16th that Jimmy went 35, 19, and 10 with 4 steals in his monster game against the Pistons. And that was his swan song. That was his bye-bye moment. Like, I am showing everybody that I can still play and kill this game. And since then, he's been garbage, absolute garbage. 0 points, 9 points, 9 points. It's like he's not even trying. Pat Riley can't stand him. Jimmy can't stand Pat Riley. When I hear that Jimmy went to the front office and told them that he's demanding a trade, did he have his agent called Pat Riley's secretary, assistant? Because I know Jimmy didn't talk to Pat Riley. I don't think they speak. They're like Pippen and Krause. Just put Jimmy on the bench in street clothes and move him. Just get it over with. But the other thing that compounds this is that Pat Riley's like, guess what? I'm not trading you, which I don't believe that for a second. So Andre said, would I trade Jimmy Butler for a top 80 player? Absolutely. I would trade Jimmy Butler for anything I can get. Because even when he gets traded, if he gets traded, Pat Riley does not mess around with stuff like this. He may just be like, F you. You can sit on the bench for the rest of the year. I don't care. You have an expiring contract anyway. So I don't trust that Jimmy Butler's suddenly going to get moved and become a fantasy beast, because he's never a fantasy beast because he doesn't play in enough games. And he doesn't. He's Jimmy Butler. Like, I would move him for whatever I could get, honestly.
Agreed, man. Agreed. There's a lot of meat on this chicken bone, even that you didn't get to, Doc, and you there was a lot of chicken bone right there. If I don't have Jimmy Butler, I'm not making a move to get him. You know what I'm saying, Doc? I don't, that's somebody else's problem, somebody else's headache. I don't want to plug into that. I don't want to acquire that. If I have Jimmy Butler, and me and Doc have told you for years, we are out of the Jimmy Butler business. He's dead to us. We don't trust him. Yeah, he flares in the playoffs from time to time, blah, blah, blah. But in fantasy, and he's not a three-point shooter. So that's a real problem with me. I've been wanting my centers banging threes. I try to get Miles Turner, Brook Lopez, guys like that, right? I even want my centers banging 3 balls. Guys, in baseball, it comes down to home runs and steals. In basketball, it comes down to threes, blocks, and steals every week and head-to-head. So I'm obsessed with getting threes. On the Heat, Doc, because I've told you the trade that I want, but who knows, and we'll see a lot of reporting on this, but I want Brandon Ingram to go to Miami and try to snow Pat Riley, but he's too smart for that. I want Andrew Wiggins to go to New Orleans, and I want Jimmy Butler to go to Golden State. All right. And there would have to be other stuff because Butler's at a much higher price point than Andrew Wiggins. Ingram's at like around 40. So maybe a couple of guys leaving Golden State, but they've got some contracts to move. Just saying. That's where I'm at with a possible trade. Jimmy Butler is a $52 million player option. Doc, honestly, that's going to be tough for him to turn down. Okay. He is going to be, Andre, correct me if I'm wrong, 36 this summer. Okay. With a $52 million option and with a who knows out there in free agency. That's a tough player option to decline. What if he opted into that, dude, and called? He said correct on Butler's age. It's going to be 36 this summer. Golly, what if he opted in, dude? That would be the poison pill for Pat Riley, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And who's more stubborn, Pat Riley or Jimmy Butler? I guess we're about ready to find out.
You know what this means, though? It means that Miami has to take 50 cents on the dollar to get rid of him. They have to just get rid of him, Doc. They can't go, oh, we can call our price and we're going to get 5 first-round picks for Jimmy Butler. dude, they are where Chicago is with Zach LaVine. Okay. They want to trade him. And I would much rather have Zach LaVine than Jimmy Butler due to age and a whole bunch of other stuff. But they are where Chicago is. Nobody wants to trade for Zach LaVine's contract, and nobody wants to trade for Jimmy Butler's contract. But that's a similar situation, dude.
It's very similar. And how many teams do you have, Rick? In just a guesstimate, how many fantasy teams do you have? 15, 10?
I'm gonna. It's between 8 and 10.
Yeah, I'm like between 6 and 8. How many Jimmy Butlers do we have between those 18 teams or 7? However many. 0.
This is a weird.
You have none.
0.
I have none. I didn't want him on my team to begin with. I certainly don't want him now. So if I had him, I would be trying to get rid of him.
Good luck with that.
And good luck. It's like trying to trade Draymond Green in fantasy. Like, who's going to give you anything for Draymond Green? You're just going to, if you draft Jimmy Butler, if you draft Draymond Green, you're stuck because nobody's going to give you anything for him.
Bro, I almost want to go to Trade Machine right now. Let me go to Golden State's roster here. So if where's Golden State? Let me go to the roster, and I got the money on here. Even forget New Orleans for a minute, right? So Wiggins is going to Miami. And there's already been some like talk and rumors and stuff about Butler going to Golden State. Curry wants a number 2 guy. I think it could be sold that Jimmy Butler could be that number 2 guy. I mean, I don't really believe that, but I think around the league, he still could garner that respect and reputation. So Wiggins, Doc, is at 26, 28, and 30 left on his deal. Also paid on this team, you've got you've got Looney at 8, so you could throw him in. That gets you to about 36. You've got Kyle Anderson at $9 million a year, which gets you to 45. So we're basically kind of at Jimmyville right now. And maybe you throw him GP2. I don't know. I'm just giving you an idea here. Moody's on a $13 million deal right now per year. They've got some guys that you could sort of bundle together to go get a Jimmy Butler, and Miami probably could use some of these guys for depth. So if I'm Pat Riley, dude, it's about getting rid of Jimmy Butler. It's not really about maximizing return on the dollar right now. I got to get him off my team because it's gone stale. And Pat Riley kind of missed his window to trade him at a really fertile time, and now it's a stale time. But he's got to get rid of him, dude. Because again, if Jimmy Butler opts in, Pat Riley is going to want to retire as president of the Miami and just hang out on Star Island. Oh, what a life. Oh, what a life. I love me some Pat Riley. All right. Just quickly here on this game, Doc. Khalil Ware. We have to talk about him. Is he worth a dice roll pickup right now? Khalil Ware, and it was a blowout. Indiana smashed Miami tonight. Thank you, Jimmy Butler. But Khalil Ware off the bench had 25 points in 21 minutes, 3 threes, 3 blocks. You have my attention, young fellow, with the fantasy gold and with the extreme efficiency. Thomas Bryant has been moved to the Indiana Pacers. Kevin Love has been moved out of the rotation, and Khalil Ware is now the backup 5 to Bam Adebayo. He has my attention. In deep leagues, he's a must-add, obviously. In 10-team leagues, no. 12-team leagues, on the radar. 14 and above, he's a must-pick-up right now for me.
I'm not going to argue with that. 9 of 11 tonight, 23 points. They lead the team in scoring. I feel like he did. He played for that IU team that I didn't really watch. So my bad on that. But he had 10 points and 5 boards in his last game. He's kind of been a triple single guy for a while. He had a pop game tonight. Congratulations, Khalil Ware. You've had more pop games than Anthony Edwards and sort of Jimmy Butler, except for the one. But the other thing that Miami has to be careful of here is they're 17 and 15, right? they're in the hunt. And Jimmy will he'll sink this ship if he can. And if I'm Pat Riley, I'm treating Jimmy like cancer. Like, I got to get him out of here before he really messes things up. But yeah, Khalil Ware is on my watch list. I'm not running out there and grabbing him everywhere, but he's certainly worth keeping a close eye on. He's 20 years old.
We got to go back to Jimmy Butler here on the Miami Heat side of this. Okay. So you've got obviously Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. They were both terrific again tonight, even at a smashing. They're going to be great moving forward. Doc, Duncan Robinson started tonight. Haywood Highsmith started tonight. They're probably going to stay in the starting five. I presume that now Jimmy Butler will be, just as Doc said, curbed, and he won't play moving forward. He'll just be pulled out of the lineup here after saying what he said. I'd be very, very surprised if Pat Riley is like, yep, lace him up for the next game, with him saying that he can't find his joy with the team. I bet Pat Riley's going to pull the plug on him right now. So there may be a starting spot opening here for the Heat. It's probably going to be Nikola Jovic, Doc, because at the end of last year, Spo went to Jovic over Caleb Martin. Part of the reason that Caleb Martin left in free agency for the Philadelphia 76ers, I believe that Caleb Martin felt slighted by that. I certainly would have. Terry Rozier could catch a spark here, but I don't know. I feel like he is what he is right now. Jaquez could get a little bump here if they decide to start him. So if Jimmy Butler's played his last game with the Miami Heat, where are you looking? Duncan Robinson, Haywood Highsmith, Nikola Jovic, Khalil Ware, Terry Rozier, Jaime Jaquez. Where are you looking?
Well, I'm super intrigued by Haywood Highsmith because he's kind of been good all season. I like Nikola Jovic. I wish he would get a bigger role with this team, but I think I'm going to go with I'm going to Jaime Jaquez. He just looks like the best player out of that group to me, and he was so good last year at this time. And they don't even use him. He played 15 minutes tonight, didn't score a point. I don't know if he's soured on his teammates, if he's soured on the coaching staff. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but all three of those guys are worth a look.
So
I'm leaning Jaquez.
Yeah, so I'm a Jaime Jaquez guy, but I don't think I don't, like Doc said. It's just weird with Jaquez this year. I think Jovic is going to re-enter the starting five here. And I have my eye on Highsmith as well, Doc, because he's a fantasy gold guy. He gets a lot of blocks, a lot of steals, a lot of threes. Shout out, by the way, to the Sports Ethos blurb feed team. They say Jimmy Butler displays putrid effort Thursday. Indeed, they did. You will find that if you download the app, the Sports Ethos app. It is absolutely free. Go do it now. It is Rick Kamla. It is Steve Alexander. Fantasy NBA today here. Ethos After Dark, breaking down the slate of games here on January 2. And Doc, last night, we talked about the Nets being plucky and game as an underdog against the Milwaukee Bucks. All I said was be careful because Cam Thomas was going to play. I feared the Bucks letting their guard down a little bit. Well, it wasn't like an official ATS release by me, although it should have been. I just kind of vibed it out. And boom, Brooklyn won the game, Doc, in Milwaukee, 113-110. Dame had a couple of three-ball looks. One was a good, one was a bad, to tie the game at the end. And I'll get to his story in a minute. He was dreadful again tonight. D'Angelo Russell is the big story here, Doc. If somehow he found his way to waivers, he is an immediate must-add pickup right now. He did not play that well tonight. He had 11 points. He had 12 assists. He had 2 steals. He shot 3 of 11, overall 0 of 4 from 3. That is not a work of art. The key is he started. Ben Simmons didn't play. I didn't even see him on the box score. I don't care. I don't know what happened there. I know that D'Angelo Russell has to start over Ben Simmons. So D'Lo drifted into you suck in Fantasyville with the LA Lakers. Now back in a starting lineup situation, and I presume this is going to be the unit moving forward. D'Angelo Russell is back to fantasy relevance, Doc. So let's launch off there.
Yeah, I mean, he only hit 3 of 11 shots, so that wasn't good. But he had 11 points, 12 assists. I'm assuming the 12 dimes are a season high. I don't know that, but and then I was excited to see Cam Johnson and Cam Thomas both score 24 and 26 points and coexist. Because I would like to live in a world where Cam Johnson is still fantasy relevant and good at fantasy, even when Cam Thomas is out there chucking. But yeah, I think you're right. I think D'Angelo Russell is now the third piece of their big three. And Nick Claxton had a double-double, which was good to see. And they got a huge win. And, once again, the Bucks, it's Giannis and it's Dame Lillard, and then it's mostly a bunch of nothing. If Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton don't both play well along with those guys or Bobby Portis, the Bucks are not a sure thing to beat anybody. So I'm all in on D'Angelo Russell, and I'm still not sold that the Bucks are that good.
Yeah, me either, dude. Me either. I mean, the Bucks have played a lot better, and I love the play design with that shot to Dame, and they worked it around. And just Doc Rivers drew up a beautiful ATO to get that shot look from Damian Lillard, and he just missed it. But Damian Lillard, Doc, is in a major slump right now. It's a two-gamer, but it's a major two-game slump. 23 points, 7 assists tonight. That looks pretty good, almost pretty chalky. But he was 6 of 20 from the field, 4 of 13 from downtown. And in his last two games, he has combined for 32 points, which is 16 a game. He's at 9 of 34 overall, 7 of 22 from downtown. This is back-to-back just dreadful games from Damian Lillard. So he's a shooter, kind of like a home run hitter. They go into droughts, and then, they'll have a month with 5 homers. Then they'll have a month with 15 home runs, or maybe like 12. And so it happens, man. You mentioned it with Middleton and Lopez. They were both terrible tonight. And Middleton was really good for 4 straight games with the PRA, and he just had a dud tonight. And we know that Brook Lopez has been wildly inconsistent, but still overall solid. He's one of those guys, it's better off if you don't look at the box score or the game log, and you just start him and leave him in there, because he has these pop games and these down games, but overall the stats are still pretty damn good. I believe he's still a top 80 player. Thank you for listening, folks, to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast. Your support means a lot to us. We really appreciate you guys and girls. If you want to help us keep this going, it's simple. Go to sportsethos.com and please consider subscribing. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a 5-star review. Doc, you go first here, man. Oklahoma City clobbered your Clippers 116-98. What caught your eye in this one, dude?
Norm Powell, my guy, dude. 1 of 11. 1 of 11. There was no James Harden in this game. He's got a groin problem. I hope it's not serious. I pray it is not serious. So Norm Powell, we do the Magic Man of the Night. If we were doing the Paul Mokeski Man of the Night, Norman Powell would have gotten that award for me tonight.
Tell the people who Paul Mokeski is, dude. A lot of people, kind of a younger crowd, they don't know. Tell them.
He's kind of a big, fat, kind of ugly white guy that played for Cleveland and some other.
And he had a perm. Dude, he had a perm,
he had a perm and a mustache, like a porn stash. And the first Pacer game I ever went to, they were playing against Paul Mokeski, and some guy in the second row was like, "Hey, Mokeski, you suck." And Mokeski turns around. He's like, right in the middle of the game. And I'm like, I don't know, 12 years old. And I'm like, oh my God.
I love that.
Oh, it was awesome.
Mokeski went double birds on the guy?
Yeah. And I was always sort of a Mokeski guy after that. I'm like, I kind of like that guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But props to Amir Coffey. Got the start. He was in my 30-team lineup. 10 of 14 shots, 6 threes, 26 points. He was Norman Powell tonight. I don't know who Norman Powell was. And maybe Norman Powell doesn't play as well if Jimmy's not out there. I don't know what happened. But just a weird Clippers vibe tonight. And then Jaylen Williams was okay, nothing special. Shea was okay, 29 and 8. If Shea doesn't score 30 points, I don't hit my Shea overs, and that makes me angry. But Shea played pretty good. Oklahoma City had one of those Warriors box scores tonight. Like everybody played, everybody contributed. It's kind of a blowout. And they outscored the Clippers 42-20 in the third quarter. Game over. And it's funny because I had Norman Powell in my FanDuel lineup tonight. I'm like looking at him. He's got like 2 points at halftime. And I'm like, I'm scrolling on the Sports Ethos app and everywhere else. Like, is Norm Powell dead? Did he get hurt? And he didn't. He just sucked. I
don't know. Bro, so if James Harden plays, he gets the top defensive attention from OKC. When he doesn't, Norman Powell gets that attention. So he's got Dort on him and Cason Wallace on him and Isaiah Joe on him and Kenrich Williams on him. And that was destined to be a rough one for Norman Powell tonight. And as good as he's been this year, Doc, there's going to be a dud. I mean, you're not going to be Jeff Malone or Andrew Toney every single game, right? A couple of other old school players y'all need to look up. OKC.
Norman Powell has had as many duds this season. He's had one more dud than Anthony Edwards has had a pop game.
There haven't been very many duds from Norman Powell.
Nope.
I was very high on him coming into the year. Doc was even higher on Norman Powell coming into the year. But we told you in the preseason, get you some Norman Powell, yo. So OKC, Doc, is very, very impressive here. They've won 13 straight games, okay? This is a fun streak now to monitor and see how far they can take this. They're 15-2 at home, 28-5 overall. Boston has a ridiculous record. OKC has an even more ridiculous record. Cleveland has an even more ridiculous record. We got some cool team stories going on here early on. You mentioned SGA, and I know you just glossed over this because it doesn't fit your narrative. And please don't get pouty on me. I'm just busting balls here. But another dud from Jaylen Williams, your boy J-Dub, 18-3-4. And last night you were telling us that without SGA, this guy is ready to take over as a primetime franchise face MVP type of guy. And he went 18-3-4 tonight, Doc. There's a disconnect between your take and the performances that we're getting here from the, I think, overrated Jaylen Williams.
Oh, my God. With 2 steals, a block, and a 3, and they won, 13 in a row, and they're 28-5, and all anybody talks about is, oh, Cleveland this, Cleveland that. Guess how many games Oklahoma City wins without J-Dub out there getting it done? They're probably at 19 wins.
I just had to bust your balls, dude.
Get me all fired up over here.
I'm
trying to get 2025 off to a good start. I don't need this.
Another flat performance from J-Dub. Hey, I got to say this about James Harden, Doc. Last night, you remember what I said about James Harden? Actually, you don't, because I did the preview solo stuff. I told the people, Doc, fade or under James Harden because it's a big game. It's a reunion game. It's a return game, or it's a playoff game. That, Doc, you fade James Harden in those spots because he gets in his head and he feels the pressure and pressure burst pipes, and we get the 3 of 18 games from James Harden, right? We have a million times. So I said fade or under James Harden. Doc, I don't even believe he was on the injury report at the time that we recorded that show. Boom, he misses tonight's game with this groin injury. As they say in the South, it's not groin, it's growing, which I always think is funny as hell. But Doc, I think this is a rest game. I don't believe that James Harden has a groin injury, okay? I believe that he ran from the smoke again, okay? This was smoke. Pardon me, I just messed myself up. At Oklahoma City? Dude, that is literally one of the toughest matchups in the entire NBA, right? Think about it. Going to Boston is easier right now than going to Oklahoma City and trying to perform and do your stuff at a high level. It's harder to go to OKC than go to Minnesota. It's harder to go to OKC than go to Denver. Do you know what I'm saying? It might be the toughest venue house to go into in the entire league based on the environment and the players on the other side of the court. And James Harden was like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, bro. Deuces.
Hey,
I'll see you in the next game.
It's only his second missed game of the season. Sounds like you're accusing him of pulling a Joel Embiid and ducking SGA and ducking the torture chamber, ducking my guy J-Dub.
That's what I'm doing.
Which is fine.
Because he's going to play. He's going to play in the next game, and he's going to prove me right that he ducked OKC.
He also ducked my boy Aaron Brewski and left me hanging out there with him in my starting lineup in 30 deep because he didn't want to play against Aaron Brewski. I mean, I get it. I wouldn't want to either, but come on, James, Jimmy, Beard, whatever. Get out there. Now, I'm cool. I'm cool with Harden taking a day off, clearing his head. Maybe next game he won't have 7 turnovers and hit 7 of 24 shots. Maybe he'll shoot it better and not turn the ball over a ton.
So let me, pardon me. Let me look this up. James Harden and the Clippers next play. When is their next game? Doc. Ooh. It is against your Atlanta Hawks. And that will be, let's see, 2 was Thursday, 3 is Friday, Saturday at crypto.com. It'll be James Harden and the LA Clippers hosting the Atlanta Hawks. I promise James Harden plays in that basketball game. It's the soft-ass Hawks on defense. I don't mean soft-ass like, I mean, they're a good team, but on defense, Atlanta basically sucks. Not
like they used to, dude. Dyson Daniels.
Dyson Daniels. Like they used to.
Dyson Daniels will get in James Harden's face.
Is he going to duck Dyson Daniels on Saturday night? Or is he going to suit up and play?
Nah, he's got to get out there, man. He's like, oh, crap. He's like, I just let Amir Coffey be the star of my team.
He got Wally pipped by Amir Coffey.
I got to get back out there.
I think he's going to play, and I actually think he's going to play well, even with the great Dyson Daniels, bird dogging him a little bit in that one. It is Fantasy NBA today. Rick Kamla and Steve Alexander. He's an FSWA Hall of Famer, a.k.a. Dr. A. And wow, Golden State took Philadelphia out behind the woodshed and just spanked them. 139-105 in the Wilt Chamberlain Bowl. Didn't he play for the Philly Warriors? And anyway, I get confused with that whole Philly Warriors Golden State thing. But anyway, Doc, what I said in the preview for this one, I called out Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, Doc, they haven't been – well, Draymond Green in the previous 2 weeks to this game tonight was trash. 5, 6, and 4 was his PRA. Stephen Curry was like 19, 3, and 5, shooting 39% from the field in his previous 2 weeks. So I said – this isn't on Poge and TJD and all these guys. Steph and Draymond are the dynasty guys. They got to play better. And they've been playing largely like garbage, right? Going into this game here tonight. They have to play well. Well, occasionally we get the diagnosis correct, Doc, because at halftime, when Golden State was up by 16 and the game was largely out of doubt, in my opinion, Steph had 11 points, 5 assists, was 3 of 3 from 3. Draymond at halftime was 9, 5, and 4 with 2 blocks and a steal. Those are halftime lines, okay, for the game. Steph Curry, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists, 8 of 8 from downtown. Hello, Draymond Green, best game in a long time. 15, 6, and 7, 3 blocks, 6 of 10 from the floor. I'm telling you, Doc, like we can look at the Lindy Waters and the Buddy Hields and the Moses Moody's. Curry and Draymond have to kick ass and take names every night. And so they're 17 and 16. They're back to a game over 500, but that's what's up with Golden State. Steph and Draymond got to play better, man.
I actually like their rotation tonight. It was like the starting 5 minus TJD, Trace Jackson Davis. He had an off night. He was overdue to have an off night. Everybody else in that starting lineup played well. And then you had Kuminga off the bench, scored 20. And then everybody else was doing like little tiny things. Like that's the way that this should work every night. Let your big five do their thing. Let Kuminga do his thing. And then everybody else should be just these background role players. Instead of one night it's whoever, and another night it's some other guy. Like, and maybe that squeezes Pajemski. I don't know. But Dennis Schroder is interesting. He's scored in double figures in 4 of his last 5. He got traded December 15th, something like that. So he's only played like 8 games with the Warriors, and he's played really well in his last 4 of his last 5. So I think Dennis Schroder should be rostered in 12-team leagues, like all of them. What do you think?
I completely disagree. I don't. I mean, I understand the scoring in doubles figures things, but it's been like 11, 7, 11, 12 in the games leading to this. This was Dennis Schroeder's best game as a Warrior, no doubt about it. 15 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 3 threes. It's by far his best game. But to me, it's fool's gold. It is a 34-point blowout of a crappy Philadelphia team. And it was just like that home party for Golden State. They shoot 61% as a team, 56% from 3. They make 22 3 balls. It was just one of those Warrior parties out at Chase Center. And so I don't think this is sustainable. Was this the turning point game for Dennis Schroeder? And now he's going to start putting up good stat lines. I'm betting against that. It's definitely possible that this was a turning point game for Dennis Schroeder. But I look at this as fool's gold. This is an outlier versus all of the previous games that he has played with Golden State. So what are we going to get moving forward? I do like patterns and trends, okay? They lead me to decision-making in fantasy sports. And if Dennis Schroeder kicks ass in his next game, Doc, and he goes 18, 3, and 7 with 2 threes and 2 steals, okay, I'm probably going to say, Doc, you were right and I was wrong. I need to see one more of these, okay? Because I fear in the next game, Schroeder's going to be 9, 3, and 4 with 0, 0, and 1, 3. Okay, so I just need to see more with Schroeder. I'm not there yet.
Well, I mean, he had 4 rebounds tonight. He had 4 rebounds in his last game. His assists have gone 6, 3, 3, 5, 5, 3, 3, 5. That's not bad. The steals haven't been there. So it was good to see the 2 steals. And then the points, I feel like they're just slowly creeping up. But I don't expect him to ever really be a big-time scorer on a team that's got Steph Curry on it. I just don't. But I think he'll get enough points and assists and rebounds and 3-pointers to be rosterable. There's probably a guy on your roster that you'd rather have on waivers than having Dennis Schroeder in your lineup. That's all I got.
I understand, dude. So the Lakers beat the Blazers tonight. Here it is Fantasy NBA Today. Rick Kamla, Steve Alexander. Hope you guys are enjoying this show. 114-106. Final game here on a light Thursday night slate. No Anthony Davis tonight. And I believe that was a rest game from Anthony Davis. He has not been a game misser this year. I am not particularly worried about this left ankle sprain. He was downgraded to doubtful earlier in the day because I think J.J. Redick did the computation. He's like, we're going to beat the lame-ass Blazers at crypto because, as I said in the preview, the Lakers role players were going to play better. Outside of James Davis and Reeves in the loss in their previous game, everybody else sucked. And tonight, you got 28 points from Max Christie. This was the Max Christie game. He had 5 threes, 2 steals, and a block. You got a lot of nickels and dimes from there, right? It wasn't an explosive game here for the Lakers. 38 points from LeBron James with 7 threes. And so LeBron James and Max Christie did basically the heavy lifting tonight. But shout out to Max Christie, dude. Doc, is Max Christie, who J.J. Redick loves, a must-add. He's gone in the points 5, 17, 16, 16, 5, and then the explosive game tonight. Is Max Christie a must roster for you right now?
Well, we got to remember Anthony Davis was out. The 28 points that Christie scored were a career high. He filled the stat sheet all the way across the board, and he's been playing a ton of minutes for this team. I'm going to say yes. And I think I'd actually rather have Max Christie than Dennis Schroder. Maybe you can get behind that one with me. But
I can.
Shout out Austin Reeves, dude. 15 points, 8 boards, 11 assists, 2 steals, 2 threes. And he only hit 5 of 15 shots. Meanwhile, my guy Dalton Connect, 2 of 6, 0 of 3 from downtown. Dalton Connect is like the best shooter in his rookie class. Yet he can't make a shot right now. And it's all in it's his head.
I agree, Doc. On the Portland side of this one, in the preview, I said that this was going to be a Scoot Henderson game. And your boy Denny Avdia was nice. 19, 10, and 4 as Jeremy Grant missed this game. DeAndre Ayton was absolutely putrid tonight. And Simons and Sharp did their thing. My guy, Toumani Camara, man. The forgotten man in fantasy. 18 points, 2 threes, a block, 4 and 3 with the boards and assists. The guy is the forgotten man. He's like 15% rostered in Yahoo leagues, and maybe that's right in a 10-team league or something like that. But damn it, the guy just gives you goodies every night. But Doc, I just had a vibe, a whim, okay, that Scoot Henderson was going to have a game. I just felt it, and he did. I mean, we're not sending this game to the Hall of Fame, but if you had Scoot at the end of a DFS ticket, at least he checked the box for you. You probably got a little flame from Scoot Henderson tonight. He had 12 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, a block, a steal, a 3, made 4 of 7 shots in 32 minutes. That's what I got here in Portland. How about you?
Scoot will be a silly season hero. I mean, I believe that 100%. And I'm going down with the ship with Scoot Henderson. And the reason that your guy, Toumani Camara, is not a household fantasy name is he went 14 boards or 14.7 boards on December 15th. Next game, 14 points, 8 boards. And we're like, oh, I got to go get Toumani Camara. Next game, 0 points, 7 boards. Next game, 5 points, 12 boards. Next game, 6 points. But then here he comes again. Monday, he had 12 and 10. And then tonight, he had 18 points, 4 boards, and a nice line. So if Kamara could just get consistent and keep doing it, then I'd be down with him. But, you know, he's just as likely to have a triple single as he is a double-double. And my God, why we're at this? Portland has how many wins? 11. Like they've already
they're 11 and 22. 11 and 22.
They've already screwed up the whole tanking thing. now we got Donovan Clingan rotting on their bench. 17 minutes tonight. Another 4 points, 3 boards. That's all he does. Yet we're running DeAndre Ayton out there, and DeAndre Ayton does not have a pair of snowshoes. He doesn't have chains for his tires.
Oh, wait, whoa. He's not dominating right now, Doc. Why isn't he dominating right now?
Hey, he's a max player, bro. He don't care. He knows he's good. But
he's a max player for 1 more year.
We're just wasting all this time to develop Donovan Clingan for next year.
2 more years. 2 more years.
Let Clingan play. Trade DeAndre Ayton for Jimmy Butler.
Why would Portland add Jimmy Butler to their tanking scenario? Why would they do
I like your Golden State landing spot for Jimmy. That makes a lot of sense. Like let him play with Curry and Draymond, and I think that would be a good place for him to be.
It would activate Jimmy Butler. Like he'd be pretty fired up about playing out there. Wiggins would be a really good Heat culture guy, I think. I just did a little search here, Jimmy Butler Warriors, just to see what popped up. NBA fans list Warriors among Jimmy Butler landing spots. Warriors fans react to Jimmy Butler's comments. Warrior Nation wants Jimmy Butler. I'm just saying, man, the Golden State Warriors have pieces. Doc, I think Golden State screwed up not trading for Lauri Markkanen when they could have. Before Lauri Markkanen signed the extension with Utah, if they would have wanted to trade Podziemski, they would have Lauri Markkanen right now. Think about that, Doc. This is according to reports. They also probably could have traded Kuminga up to Utah to get a Lauri Markkanen. And I like Poj and I like Kuminga. And I'm not like Lauri Markkanen does it for me in reality, Doc. He doesn't do it for me in fantasy. But in reality, on Golden State, with the gravity created by Steph, with the passing ability of Draymond Green, with the system and how it's man movement and ball movement, don't you think Lauri Markkanen would have been a killer player for the Warriors?
Yeah. But I think Jimmy's a good fit too. Like if I heard a rumor that Jimmy was coming to my Hawks or my Pacers, I'd be like, no. We're not doing that. I'd be fine with Jimmy going to Dallas. Honestly, they could use a guy like Jimmy.
What does Dallas give up, though? But what does Dallas give up?
They probably don't have the pieces to get him.
You know, you got Clay, you got PJ at the forward spots, and Luka and Kyrie. I'm not mad at you saying it. It'll probably that might be one of his destinations. I don't even know, but how does he fit? I'm not feeling that one.
Well, I think he fits because they need a small forward. Like Clay's washed, dude. Clay's washed.
Do you think Pat Riley would take on some Klay Thompson back? Do you think like they could move Clay and stuff to Miami for Butler?
Dude, at this point, Pat Riley may be ready to trade Jimmy Butler for a 6-pack of Natural Light and a pack of Marlboro Reds.
And a handle of Kharkov. All right, guys, be sure to download the Sports Ethos app. It's completely free. Stay updated on all major sports. Use the tools with the app to crush your fantasy basketball competition. Doc and I will be back on Monday right after the games. You can catch us live on the Sports Ethos YouTube channel or on the Fantasy NBA Today podcast. Also, be sure to tune in on Friday around noon Eastern for a 30-team breakdown with Doc and Brew. For Andre Lemouche, for the great Dr. A, I am Rick Kamla. This show has been presented by Bet Online. We'll see you soon.